Welcome back, everyone. I am once again doing a video about Treasury and Utilitex. I'm here with the CEO of the Treasury XRPL project. I'm here with Duncan Glendinning. Thank you for joining us again, Duncan.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about their new rewards systems that have been put in place starting in the new year. And I know that some people have been a bit confused and that the different tiers might not seem as, but people don't see the potential in them, I think is
Yeah,
the biggest issue. And so I wanted to get on with Duncan, explain these a little bit, share some of my perspective about where we are in the market and how that might play towards some things. And I built an Excel sheet with Duncan's help to be able to showcase what the potential rewards are and so forth. And then we're going to get into how you, at the very end, Duncan's going to share how if you log into the Treasury website, you can be able to tell where you are based on logging in with your Zum wallet. And if you don't have a Zum wallet, if you don't have Treasury, you can always look in the videos in the description below to make sure that you can get in or get Utilitex, depending upon what you want to buy. None of this is financial advice. I simply do this with the projects to try to educate people as well as entertain, because hopefully I'm somewhat entertaining. That's why you watch me. But
absolutely.
Okay, well, thanks, Duncan. Got one person on my side. But if you do like this, make sure, of course, to smash that like button because it does help us with the algorithm. But without further ado, let's get into it here. So we've got the rewards, and so Duncan, I see we have entry level, and we have growth level, and we have competitive level. And
That's right.
so I'll let you take over, but it seems like the entry level is really based on academy here. Can you break down how? Because I think
Yeah,
the entry level for me and the what is it? The entry level and the competitive level were probably the most confusing for me because they seem to have moving targets.
yeah,
So I was hoping you could help us
absolutely.
out.
Yeah, sure. So if it's all right, just real quick, because the rewards program has changed, I just wanted to run through a couple of the basic motivations for us changing the rewards program,
Sure.
because there is a lot of people that might be watching this video to get a better insight, who might be scratching their heads as to why it is that we changed it in quite a drastic fashion. Previously, we were doing a very basic drop of a certain percentage twice a month based on your holdings of Treasury. And Utilitex in the early days was a token we were needing to get out in distribution in a pretty considerable volume because it has its utility within our ecosystem. And so we decided to reward those that were holding Treasury quite handsomely to be able to achieve that goal. Now, as you said, with an ecosystem, Treasury is our main token. It's black hold and it's deflationary, whereas Utilitex is not black hold and has a very set utility to it. The first utility being use of it on our venture voting platform, but then also coming soon, use of it to provide yourselves with backing and insurance through our insure product. And so what we need to do at some point is we needed to get some control over the Utilitex token and crucially, obviously, its price and its chart action to be able to have a token that has longevity and sustainability for the ecosystem and also for its holders. And we recognize that continuing along the model that we had with just a straight drop based on what you're holding in Treasury wasn't really providing any real incentive for people to go out and basically buy Utilitex when there's opportunities for them to do so and they have the means for them to do so. So that's really the underlying bits. But at the top of this page, there is a link to a light paper that details in a bit more with more specifics as to the motivations of why it is that we change, and we go into that. So I'd encourage anybody who is still kind of scratching their heads on that front to go and check out the light paper because it should answer most of their questions there. But as you said, there's three tiers in our rewarding program, and the very first one is the entry level one, which, like you said, hinges on academy. Why does it do that? It is because the rewards were always based. So when we were doing a percentage rewards of your Treasury holding delivered to you in Utilitex, the minimum hold we had was always the total amount of Treasury that you can earn by completing the lessons within Academy. Academy, which we've done another lesson with another video with yourself, JT, is our Learn to Earn platform that rewards people in Treasury for completing lessons, becoming more educated, more empowered sort of investors in the XRPL. Mm-hmm. So currently, the maximum you can earn in Treasury by completing all the lessons is 628. And so 628 was our minimum previously to start receiving that percentage return. And we have kept that number. That number is clearly detailed both here and other places on our page and widely publicized throughout our socials as a number that will change when new lessons come on board and will go up. So the minimum hold, as more lessons become available in Academy, will increase accordingly. And this entry level kind of part of our rewards program is very much geared at people who may not have any XRP or fiat to invest in Treasury, but like the idea of playing a part in our ecosystem. And so they can do that instead by giving up their time, becoming more educated, better protected, more informed and empowered, earning that 628 Treasury that then makes them eligible for this entry level tier. Now, the only compromise that we've had to make in rejuvenating our rewards program is that we are less generous now than we were earlier in the earlier days. And the rewards for holding that minimum 628 is 0.01% dropped to them daily. And that is dropped to them in Utilitex. So one thing, just to be clear, is nearly all of our rewarding takes as a basis your holdings in Treasury, but we're actually paying people in Utilitex. The idea being Utilitex is the token. Treasury is what you aim to hold and accumulate. Utilitex is what you aim to be able to buy, trade, sell for passive income, or use on our platform. So that is the token that we are rewarding. So anywhere above or equal to 628 Treasury, the holders will receive 0.01% of that holding in Treasury paid to them in Utilitex daily.
So, I mean, this is a good way to get in if you, again, don't have anything you personally want to invest besides your time to increase your knowledge, but you're still being rewarded for it, something. And then
Absolutely.
You can participate in the ecosystem, whether it be to vote for different projects with venture, to gain the rewards from the venture platform, or for Ensure in the future. But now that you started releasing the different utilities for Utilitex, that they can participate without really buying anything.
Yeah, I mean, further information on Ensure and the minimum hold, which there is likely to be for you to be eligible for the insurance product that we're bringing out, has yet to be publicized. But certainly for the venture platform, you're going to start earning Utilitex. The minute you hit 628, you're going to get those daily drops. You can accumulate those. Then that Utilitex will be for you to do with as you please. You can sell that through the DEX and earn yourself some passive income, convert it to XRP, or even back out to fiat if you choose to. Or you can accumulate it and you can use it. One way right now you are able to use it is in every future venture voting round, where you can vote and back a project and receive some rewards from them in return. So the great thing that we see with this is through Treasury, beyond having 10 XRP to fund a Zoom wallet, and the 2 XRP you need for each of Treasury and Utilitex trust lines that you would need to set. And like you said, you've done plenty of videos covering the Zoom wallet and how to set all of that up. So if anybody who's in the dark on that, go check out JT's other videos. You can basically, beyond that minimal investment, you can start earning yourself some crypto and start playing quite an important part within a project's ecosystem. And that's why we were really keen to maintain that commitment to reward holders, regardless of what they have invested in the project.
And for anyone who's wanting to know, like, the price of XRP right now is I believe it's 38 cents. So if you have, under $5 USD, just rounding up, it's probably considerably a little bit less than that. But so it's what is it? You mentioned 14 XRP to set up those two trust lines and to fund the wallet. Maybe 1 XRP more just to make sure you can do transactions. You're probably well good if you have $5 in your pocket to be able to start this. So
exactly.
But again, it is a moving target. There are more classes, and as soon as you release more classes to be able to meet that requirement, they will need to take those additional classes to continue to be eligible, right?
Absolutely, exactly. Okay. And then as we move into the next tier, you'll see that it isn't 628 or nothing. It's anything from 628 Treasury right up to the 20,000 Treasury, which is the next requirement for to hit the next tier. And you will receive that 0.01% in the entry level on any amount of Treasury whilst you are in that entry level tier daily. So, it's not a case that if you hold 630, you still only get 0.01% on your 628. You'll get it on your full balance of Treasury that you hold. So obviously, you're going to get proportionately larger drops depending on your Treasury holdings in that entry level tier.
Gotcha.
Which then brings us on to our growth level. Now, growth level is one where we mix it up a little bit, and there's two requirements for people to be eligible. The first one is that they need to hold a minimum of 20,000 Treasury. And the second is that they need to hold a minimum of 60,000 Utilitex. And I think we're going to go, when we look at your spreadsheet, we'll equate what that's worth in US dollars.
Yeah, we'll take a look. It's not as intimidating as it sounds at the moment, but
exactly.
Yeah. At least for the moment.
Yeah. And so the way this tier works is you have to hit those two criteria, and then the reward that you receive is far greater, because we've gone from 0.01% to 0.16% paid daily in Utilitex based on your Treasury holding. So suddenly the numbers start to look a lot more interesting, particularly when you look at a 6 monthly or a yearly kind of return on your investment with a few assumptions, which we'll go on to a bit later on. So with this one, it's trust line to Treasury and Utilitex set. Regardless of which reward program you fall in, you're going to need the trust lines to both, because if in the entry level one you have a trust line to Treasury set and you've got 628, but you don't have your Utilitex trust line set, you're not going to receive Utilitex. So in any event, they need both trust lines set. And here you need to hold 20K Treasury, 60K Utilitex, and that or above those amounts. And you will earn 0.16% on your Treasury holding.
Okay. And so anything that is at these 20K and the 60K are minimum levels. And for this, what do you call it? This rewards tier. But then anything between that and the next tier, which is 100K. So anything between 20K and 9,999K.
Yeah. 99,999 is going to be rewarded at that 0.16%. Absolutely. Okay. And to be clear, at least at the time of recording this video, tier 2 is the tier that we find most people falling into. And the reason for that is that those that have been part of our community for a period of time will have a certain amount of Treasury. I don't want to make assumptions and say everybody's got 20,000 Treasury, but again, at the current value of Treasury, it isn't an astronomical investment to get to that sort of level. But what a lot of people have done is they've used Utilitex as it is intended, which is that they have voted in venture or they have sold it for passive income. And so people have ended up working their way into tier 2. And what we found much less common is those that are falling to be eligible for the tier 3 rewards, which is our competitive level. Now, this is probably the one that has been the biggest head scratcher for people, because there are two criteria again here. The first criteria is the easy one. You need to bump your Treasury holdings up from 20K, which is the growth level, to 100K to hit the competitive level. But that isn't enough. You need to fulfill both criteria. The second criteria is that you need to match the XRP value of your holding in Treasury. You need to match that with at least the same amount of the XRP value of your Utilitex holding.
Yeah, and that's,
for you to be eligible.
The XRP value of the Utilitex holding
Yeah,
equal to Treasury, that is where I want to switch over to the spreadsheet and help show people, because I think that is where I got hung up, and I think
yeah,
that's where a lot of other people will get hung up too.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
well, let's talk about the rewards for a second, because
yeah,
unlike daily for the entry level is not, or you say not, I'm saying 0.01, and
yeah,
then 0.16%. This is double the growth level. This is 0.32%.
exactly.
And that's
Uh,
daily.
it's daily, and that
That's
equates to on or around 10% basically monthly. And so it is not an inconsiderable
no.
amount of returns, but we are expecting people to reach a level of investment in Treasury in order to be eligible for that.
Yeah.
And
So when people ask like, well, James or JT, why would you do the competitive level as opposed to the others? I think I might fall just in the growth level myself. I'm not sure I meet the 60K, but I think I have a little bit more than 20K treasury if I remember correctly. But
yeah,
the if I was desiring to get here after I built the spreadsheet I built, I was considering, I was like, what steps would I have to do to become part of this level? Because it became a lot more attractive after I thought about where we're at in the market and so forth. So let me just go ahead and go there.
absolutely.
This is the spreadsheet I built. This is the Utilitex value on the day. This is in XRP. This column is XRP on the left here. This column is USD value. So Treasury is 0.008 XRP, and it is, of course, 0.0028 USD. And you can see here that one XRP is around 35. I guess it's like 38 cents here, actually. Do
Yeah,
we need to change that?
yeah, one
Okay.
may as well. Yeah,
All right. Let's just go ahead and
we've
change it
seen we've
to,
seen a little movement. Why not?
yeah, let's go ahead and,
Snapshot in time.
all right. So my numbers are changing here, but we'll see how that affects things. So Utilitex again, 0.4981 here. So again, you can see where this is from the left-hand side where we're drawing from.
Yeah,
And then on the right-hand side, you can see we have the entry level, we have the growth level, and the competitive level, just as we talked about previously. And again, the rewards are paid out daily, so it may not seem like high percentages, but when you think about it daily, that's the part that gets crazy here. So
yeah,
Academy, I'm just going to go through them really quick because to give people an idea what we're doing here. Academy,
yeah.
again, 628 is the minimum. The rewards percent is 0.01%. We can see that comes to you get an expected payout of roughly 6.06 and change. That's
Daily.
Utilitex daily. The XRP amount is 0.003. These are not super high numbers. And neither is the monthly. The monthly is you get one Utilitex and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
And yearly, if you hold on to this 365 days, you'll end up with around 4 cents with the minimum, doing nothing else. But again, the point I want to make is that, and I want to give people a vision as we go through the spreadsheet, is arguably since around mid last year, we've been in a very down market.
mm,
And people in the XRP community, particularly since 2020, have faced, the price went up a little bit, even though we were in a lawsuit, but we are down with the market and sitting at around 38 cents from what was $1.70 back, I believe, a year and a half ago. So the whole market is down overall. We've lost about $1 trillion in the market. We have our main asset that is under the company that created it is under a lawsuit, and that has restricted where the asset can even be purchased in the US and in certain areas. So we all know the XRP is probably, once the lawsuit is arguably going to take off. Again, not financial advice, but one of my strategies that I have been thinking about is how can I accumulate some of my favorite assets in this down market. Now, Treasury is not just one of the ones that I have been interested in. It's also one that is a part of block oversight. And so I look to block oversight as, and also because I'm on the board along with Duncan, he's actually the chief of onboarding and is a board member for the board of directors, and I am the chief of operations. This is an organization that has allowed and created extremely strong standards with the collaboration of many other cryptocurrency projects to be able to set standards for self-regulation. Now, if I'm thinking about assets I'm going to accumulate, I want it to be the best kind. And I know that projects are generally going to do well once the market improves. Now, no one can say what's going to happen. But for me, I want a project that's going to meet those high standards. And so Treasury is one of those, and Utilitex, ones I'm trying to figure out how to accumulate. So if the market goes up, I should see better returns than even what I'm seeing here. So when I created this, I created as, okay, what's the worst case scenario I'm going to see based on where I'm at? And so I should see 4 cents at the end of a year of getting the absolute minimum rewards. Now I have more than that, and I can't tell you to go out and buy Treasury, and I won't. And you shouldn't go out and buy anything based on what I say. But for me, the absolute minimum gets me 4 cents in a down market. What would that be in a better market, even if I've accumulated during that time? And so, and again, that's just the value of Utilitex, right? That's
Yeah,
not the value of Treasury. So,
no, exactly. And just to touch on that as well, like you just hinted, then is you talked about what the fluctuations with XRP's value. But it gets a little bit more complicated here, especially when we look at the competitive level, because we're looking at the values for both Treasury and Utilitex as well. So when people are looking at that 4 cents on the 628, the two things I would say is that 628 Treasury they will have earned by bettering themselves by completing the academy. So they've, as from where I'm stood, they've already gained something really valuable. The 628 Treasury is the cherry on the cake that also allows them participation in the ecosystem. That said, Treasury's value would not need to make, tidal waves for that 4 cents to start to move quite considerably. But genuinely, if you're in it as an investment kind of proposal, the entry level is there for us to stay good on our promise, which is that to participate in our ecosystem, you do not have to spend a single cent of XRP if you choose not to. But obviously, the level of rewarding we are offering is reflects that in the entry level. But that one's clear. Let's run through the growth level, shall we?
Yeah, so to get into the growth level right now, it would take approximately $60 or $61 USD to get the 20K, and then a $111 to get the 60,000 Utilitex. So looking at a total of, what is that, 172 and change to get to meet that growth level at the minimum. So, and then at the end of a year, you would receive around $21 again, but that's 11,680 Utilitex.
That's it.
So, and right now, again, I look at it as the market can always go down, but I look at the minimum amount of worst case scenario in the spreadsheet. So minimum would be 21.75, and then again, who knows what the market will do though.
Which is on or around 12% basically return on your initial investment, which in a bear market with the tokens where they're at, and with it's still a relatively young project. I mean, as far as the XRPL, we've been relatively long established, but in terms of business and companies operating in the financial sector, we're still in our infancy. So, if you're getting 12+% yearly return, it's not a bad return on your investment. And that's at the growth level, which for certainly for people in our community already has not felt like a very big hurdle to get to. And it is certainly where the majority of our community are sitting at in the kind of the tiers from our daily rewarding.
So anyways, it seems fairly doable. I just won't speak for everyone. I know different situations differ across the world, but it's, again, the potential here is a great, mid compromise that still could have really great and far reaching rewards in the future, potentially based on the market and how things go. And Treasury is, of course, delivering, I can't wait to see what Venture is going to do in the future. I think like it's positioned in I can't speak for everyone. I feel like it's a pretty good place that as soon as, if XRP gets the clarity that we hope and think it will do, that projects will be moving over, or, it'll be a huge season of innovation for the XRPL. And I think that, Venture is ripe to be able to help those different projects start up and or to continue. So
absolutely, that's where we sought to position ourselves with Venture, and so we don't expect again an onslaught of venture rounds at the minute, but we have built the infrastructure and we have the means to deliver some really successful venture rounds through our platform when we start to see that positive momentum.
Yep. Moving on to competitive, and this is where again things get really. I was trying to wrap my head around it because it's the XRP value of your treasury that has to be equal. And so the thing is that when you're looking at the Utilitex, which is represented by, it should be pink here, and I apologize for not color coding it, but this amount needs to be in XRP worth equal to the treasury amount you have. And so we can see that if we were to, I'm just gonna like delete the equation for a second. If we were to have like 100,000, for example, we would have, you'd see that the XRP value is less than the 100K, and therefore we would still be in the growth tier, not in this one. So
absolutely.
And the thing is, the XRP value can fluctuate. So it's even better if you had, let me just go back to, what was it, 163?
Yeah.
100. You might want to have like 165,000 just in case the price fluctuates on the day, because you could be in the growth level one day and the competitive level the other based on the values of things, right? Is that wrong, Duncan?
And it's actually happened. So we have had people who have worked hard to get themselves into tier 3, and despite all of the information we've made available, the page there is available to them that gives them their detailed personal holdings information. What people have done is, once they've hit that 100,000 treasury, or on or above that 100,000 treasury, and they've matched it with their Utilitex, they've done one of the things that people are perfectly entitled to do with their surplus Utilitex, and they sold it for passive income. The problem, however, is that if the price of treasury was to go up by just a few percent, and if Utilitex's price was to go down a few percent on a given day, you're going to be required to hold that much more Utilitex to match the XRP value of your treasury holding. And so and in fact, we can do that. I don't know if you want to try a little simulation, but if you go top left-hand corner and change Utilitex's value from 0.049, so up at the top. So top left,
One
right?
second. Sorry, just trying to restore that.
Oh, sorry.
So turn what?
So yeah, if you change the Utilitex value from 0.049, and let's say there's a bit of a dip and you have 0.039, that should work, and hit enter, you can see people may have seen the screen refresh. And instead of 163,000 Utilitex you're required to hold, you now need to hold 205,000. And we've noticed people basically either end up with surplus Utilitex or end up short and dropping out of tier 3 because of the volatility between treasury and Utilitex. So what we've said to people is, we've advised that if tier 3 is where you want to be, or if you are close to it, consider that beyond the calculations that are being given to you on screen, which we'll see a little later on, consider having that little buffer. And that buffer will allow you to see a bit of fluctuation in the Utilitex price versus Treasury without you dropping down from tier 3 into the growth level. And the idea also is that with people accumulating Utilitex daily, by being in either the growth level or the competitive level, is that that surplus Utilitex can go towards sales for the passive income, but it can also be the Utilitex that you accumulate to participate in venture voting rounds. Mm-hmm. And you can then participate in the venture voting rounds without it impacting on the tier that you are currently sat in and affecting your daily rewards. And so that's how it is structured. And that is the reason why we're paying out Utilitex, is it's effectively giving people Utilitex on top of their required holdings to stay in their tier to go and use within our ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, the focus, right? It depends on what you think the potential returns are, because you could want to stay in, you could focus on being in the competitive level, or you could focus on the returns that a particular venture month and project might bring you. And so it may be more valuable to sink all your Utilitex into that venture monthly project to see the returns based on what you think the rewards are like. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
It just depends. Like your focus, it's very easy when you see the rewards program to just focus on the rewards and the yearly returns. It's much more. There's much more to the Treasury project than just that, and the potential through venture to increase your ability or to diversify through another project's rewards as well is also, I think, potentially based on the project, it could be very appealing. So,
absolutely. So what I would say, because I want to be as honest as possible with everybody who's listening into the video, and what I would like to try and do without kind of pigeonholing the types of people that might be playing a part in our community and as part of our ecosystem. But I would just like to try and underline the fact that the competitive level is one that is going to require work. Mm-hmm. So what is good with the entry level and the growth level is it's sort of, if you're that kind of person, a set and forget. So if you have your 20,000 Treasury and your 60,000 Utilitex, you can leave it and you can just watch that daily come in and you'll be fine. And you'll be earning, 15 on or around 15% annual return on your investment without having to do anything with it at all. The competitive level, however, is going to require a little bit of tuning, whether that's every day or every few days, checking in on the charts, looking at what the values are, and potentially adjusting your positions accordingly. So it is definitely not one for the kind of more relaxed investor, someone who is, a once a week that's checking on my holdings, see how things are going. It does require a little bit of work, but then that is reflected in the returns we're offering. It's over the 30% mark annual return, which is huge. And in reshaping our reward structure, we consider that we have something here that is rewarding people proportionately to the level of their investment, but also the risk. And we are offering, some pretty decent percentages, but certainly competitive is going to require some work, whereas the growth level less so. But it reflects in what you receive.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're an investor looking for, ROI and the percentages, these growth levels are great. I just think that it detracts a little bit from, the great utilities that venture and insure might be a little bit, because I would love to be able to make sure the projects are getting the use out of the Utilitex, because and there were some of the projects that I really wasn't into on the last venture one, but the fact is that, again, Treasury is set to for the future, to bring in when all the projects are coming in and moving over the XRPL. Treasury is set. And so even if there's not ones now that I may be super excited about, I know I'm very confident there's going to be ones in the future that I care about a
Absolutely.
lot more. So I'm very bullish on using my Utilitex for venture. But the
Yeah.
great thing is that until I see a project that I don't necessarily, that I feel extremely excited about, I'm going to be gaining, whether it be on the growth level, competitive, or even if I,
You're just accumulating.
yeah,
And when
like,
the opportunity is right, then you can create yourself a really nice position by backing one of those startups or very young projects on the XRPL. So to me, it sounds as though it's absolutely a very, very, very good strategy. But
yeah,
this is the interesting thing, and it's not done haphazardly, is that the Treasury ecosystem can be different things to different people. So you can be a set and forget investor. You can be someone who is that little bit more competitive. You can choose that Utilitex is only destined to be sold, or you can choose to hedge it by investing through venture and growing your investment portfolio, of XRPL assets that way. And then on top of that, there's Insure. And we'd be remiss if we suggested that was the end of the road for Treasury, but that's what's currently there or within reach within our ecosystem.
do you want to share anything
So
about what's coming out?
there's, I think all I would say is that there is no doubting the fact that we have always said to people that ultimately Treasury is the token to be holding and accumulating. And it's illustrated here because effectively, even though you need the minimum holds in Utilitex, they are based on your Treasury holdings. But there is going to be something else coming that is going to be relevant to people's holdings in Treasury.
Okay.
That's just, it might be a given to a lot of people. But there is far more to the Treasury token than it just being the one that you necessarily just hold with us being Treasury XRPL project. But I can't say any more because I'm going to get shot by my team.
All right. Well, the thing is that you do have a further road plan. You said things are not stopping at Insure, and I just wanted to give you the opportunity in case. But we'll break the news another day. It sounds like.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know that usually when the white paper comes out, I'm getting in touch with you to see if we can do a dive into it. So stay tuned, everybody, because JT and I will be on, I'm sure, in a video in the not too distant future, diving into the next white paper and update on our roadmap. Okay. But yeah, shall we swing over to the couple of pages that I've got open to show people what that looks like?
So yes, now we're going to show people on. So if you are trying to figure out where you stand, what's great about this is, if you're just if you want to stay in the competitive, if you're trying to figure things out, if you're in the growth level or where you're at, Treasury has done a great job about creating on the website a web page that will show you where you stand and gives you some graphs. And so that's what Duncan's going to show us now.
I'm going to show people two screens. So what I've done is I've logged in using two very different two accounts with very different amounts of holdings to show them. And basically, for anybody looking at the video thinking, I've got to either ask JT really kindly if he will share his spreadsheet with me, or I have to go and recreate it myself, and I'm going to have to get a calculator out. If to certain people that scares the Jesus out of them, don't panic, because what we've done is we've created this page. So if I scooch up to the top, you'll see our website, which you'll recognize. And just here under rewards, when you click on it, you will get onto our page. There is a link here to our light paper. There's the usual disclaimers you'd expect from a project. And then this is the interesting bit. So top right-hand corner, you will have seen it because it was covered in previous videos with JT. But top right-hand corner, you've got this little blue box that allows you to log in. So you click on it, you sign with your Zoom wallet, and then you're logged into our website. And what that allows us to do is fetch your wallet and look at holdings and provide some information that is very telling. Now, full disclosure, this is my personal wallet. It is actually on our website anywhere on the About Us page. And so it runs through the holdings. So this is my holding in Treasury. This is my rank in the rich list as a result. And what it does is it also pulls through the live value of Treasury and Utilitex at the time at which you load that page. So you may have the page open and then refresh it a few hours later, and these numbers will change accordingly. So there's very little that people need to do going elsewhere and fetching numbers in order to provide an accurate appraisal of where they stand in the rewards program. And from these numbers, it basically computes the total XRP value of the Treasury holding. And underneath, it does exactly the same with the Utilitex holding. From that, it gives you two nice little graphs, which are quite cool. The graph on the left is the XRP value of holdings. Now, bearing in mind, if you want to be in the top tier, the competitive level, you need to have that minimum 100,000 Treasury holding, which we know we have in this wallet. But then you need equal amounts or more Utilitex in value of your holding of Treasury in XRP. And so what you need to see in this little pie chart here is you would need to see the one in blue to be at least the same size as the purple one or greater for you to know that you are hitting the competitive level kind of eligibility. This is only really here for people who respond to visuals as opposed to kind of hard numbers. But the really, really important bit comes directly underneath it, which is this green box that is really hard to miss, which does two things. It's going to display the banner of the tier that you are sitting, depending on your holdings. So everything is calculated for you. Here you can see it shows that we are in growth level, so it's tier 2. And you can also read the text on this as well. So you can see here it says, congratulations, you qualify for tier 2. Your total Treasury balance can be used for your 0.16%, which is the growth level percentage of rewards offered. And based on your holdings, it's even going to tell you what you expect to receive or what you should receive in your next daily rewards drop. And all of that is calculated. Now, we have taken things a little step further, which is depending on what tier that person sits in when they connect their wallet, it's also going to give them a target. And the target's quite a cool thing because it may be hard for people to equate how much more additional Utilitex they may need to buy for the value in XRP of the Utilitex holding to match the value in XRP of their Treasury holdings. So as at today, the time when I loaded this page, taking the current trading values of Treasury and Utilitex, it calculates it for you. And you can see here, it says to qualify for tier 3 competitive level, I don't need any additional Treasury because I've hit the minimum 100,000 required to hold. But unfortunately, I do require a fair chunk of Utilitex to become eligible. And that's simply, again, full disclosure, the only thing that the executives on the Treasury XRPL team are getting paid is Treasury, albeit with the caveat that we're also not allowed to sell Treasury. And so my Treasury holdings are quite substantial. I've amassed quite a lot of Utilitex that I bought using my personal funds and otherwise received Utilitex like lots of other people. So like a lot of other people, I fall in tier 2 where I'm needing to up my Utilitex holdings just a little to hit that tier 3 competitive level. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So wait, I just want to go back a second. So two things. You don't even meet tier 3 yourself as a founder and the CEO of the project. Okay.
Correct.
So you're definitely not getting rich off of this. On top of, you said that is it for on a certain basis? I just want to clarify that point that you are not allowed, or you've agreed to not be allowed as Treasury executives to sell Treasury. Is that until such time as, or well, I want to be very clear, because when people say that and then future happens, there's a reason you're holding it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a clause, and it's through the growth period of the Treasury project, which from the time of filming this video is at least going to be another 12 calendar months, potentially more. We have elected that whilst we have paid ourselves in 2 installments in Treasury, so that we, like everybody else, should be entitled to be able to accumulate Utilitex for ourselves personally. We have taken a commitment that we don't intend to sell it. Personally, and I can only speak personally, I don't have any intention of ever selling Treasury whilst I'm heading up the project, because I just find it to be a bit of an odd thing. I mean, we've seen it enough times, haven't we? Projects saying buy, 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 and all the while those running the projects are selling. It leaves a bit of an unsavory taste in your mouth, and we are not that kind of project. So
it's true,
and
but
actually,
at the same time, you should be getting paid for your efforts as well, to some degree, I would
we
think.
should.
But I just, you are the head of onboarding for Block, and I know who you are, and I just don't think people do. So I want to give you the opportunity to tell that, because what you are and how you have upheld yourself is also reflecting upon Block. And so I just want to give you the opportunity to say those things, because we've seen a lot of people rug their own projects and run away.
Absolutely.
Some guy whose name starts with a T, especially maybe an O, an M, and a Y. You know, we'll see.
Whose name isn't even worthy of our airtime. But what I would say, just for people who are scratching their heads going, well, that's totally unsustainable. If people are being paid a token to run a project that they're never going to sell, there's no longevity in that project. What I would say before we get back to the rewards program is that the strategy that we have as a project is that through future products and platforms that we are launching through Treasury, there is going to be a monetizing element, which is going to be XRP based. And the strategy for the project is that we receive XRP income that becomes the paychecks for the executives and for people on the team, so that we move away from having to do what lots of projects have to do, which is pay themselves in their own token, and then basically have to sell it. Because right now, unfortunately, I can't go to the supermarket and buy my grocery shop paying with my Treasury token. So that is why that commitment, certainly from me, and that mid to long term commitment from the executive team is there, is because we've got an underlying strategy of monetizing through XRP, which we intend to pay ourselves with, for it to not affect the project and its holdings and the circulation and everything that comes with it. And no doubt, you speak to any other project, that would be a target of their own as well. I don't think anybody that is legit in this space really intends to issue a token to then pay themselves and then intend to sell it to earn themselves some XRP.
So wait a second. I know you can't share certain things, but you're talking about the executives will benefit, and I just don't think that people understand that they will benefit as well from the XRP in the future that you're talking about, in terms of the same strategy, right?
Yeah. So we our goal is to earn a paycheck, but the paycheck is an XRP, and it does not come from selling Treasury tokens.
But you will gain the same way that the holders will gain from this XRP as well in the future, right?
So the holders are a different bag, because the holders, they have custody of their own tokens. They're not running a project. Every holder, and we stipulate it countless times through the academy lessons, it is your crypto. So long as you have custody of it, you are free to do with it as you please.
Yeah.
Now, we would love to see people, grow their holdings in Treasury, enjoy the journey, see all the other products that we have planned come on board, benefit from them and everything else. But if someone's personal circumstances change, for example, and they decide to liquidate their holding in Treasury or UTILITEX or both, they are totally entitled to do that. And in doing so, they are then converting it to XRP that in turn they can then convert to fiat and off-ramp or whatever else. And it's just that we have positioned ourselves as a project where it is not built into our model to be selling Treasury tokens on the DEX to pay our team and to cover the cost of development.
Okay. Well, we can talk more about that whenever it actually, happens and comes out. But
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's always good. It's good to remind people, because it's a common misconception, I think, within projects that the minute you're running a project, you're earning an income. No. And I think people would be surprised to know how many legit, long-established projects are actually still people like myself and my team grinding for nothing else other than the promise of building a multi-million-dollar cap, business, rewarding their holders handsomely for the commitment the investment they've put in, and their commitment to the project, and in turn also creating themselves an income. But there are very, very few, if any, projects I would hasten to guess, on the XRPL, that I'm in a position to do that, because we're, like you said, we're in a bear market, and we're targeting a relatively small audience at the moment.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So shall I flick over to the other one to show the people the other?
Yeah,
the
just
other,
real quick. I think they get the idea, but yeah, let's go.
So this is one here where we qualify for the where I qualify for the tier 2, and I will show another wallet which is basically more of kind of a test wallet. And here you'll see the holdings are very different. There's only 603 Treasury in here, so the rank obviously is much lower. There's a little over 1,100 Utilitex in there. And you can see the XRP values of each here. The graphs have been updated, obviously, accordingly. So in this instance, if this graph illustrated the holdings, but the holdings were of Treasury were upwards of 100,000, this graph with the blue slice of the pie being bigger than the purple would make you eligible for that competitive level. But unfortunately, as you can see here in this little sad red box, there is no banner displaying your tier because you aren't currently eligible for any tiers. And it says so. It says that you don't meet the minimum criteria for rewarding, but it does give you your target, which is to qualify for tier 1, which is entry level. You would require an additional 24.95 Treasury. And the 24.95 Treasury is calculated based on your 603 Treasury here, to total 628, which, as we know, is the minimum hold for entry level. So regardless of the tier that people are in, when they connect their wallet, they're going to get information that is basically personalized to them, that not only tells them what tier they're in, not only tells them their daily drops, but will also tell them their target and how to move to the next tier.
Okay. So, but again, so let's scroll back up to the top. Let's put a situation to this. That I think might be very common. So people have gone through Academy, they've missed a couple questions, they didn't get 100% on their exams, and therefore they're left with 603 Treasury. Well, you told me if I did Academy, I would be able to get rewarded and meet the minimum criteria. Well, the thing is, if you have to not only meet Academy, you have to get 100% on the exams.
Correct.
And so that is a caveat that I want to make sure is very well known. Now it's still doable because the thing is, while you're doing the Academy, you still have Google. You could still bring up the Treasury page and search for things. You can, I would even say you're encouraged to look up the answers while you're taking the exams, because the whole goal is to learn, right, Duncan?
Exactly. So, and also, whilst it isn't one of these kind of giveaway lotto questions where it's multiple choice and there's only one obvious one because the 3 others are ridiculous. Here, it is a proper question with proper multiple choice answers, but we are not designing these questions on the quiz at the end of each lesson to catch people out. So it is a simple fact that if people have read the lesson above, and it is designed to be no more than a 3 to 5 minute read per lesson, there is zero barriers to them failing those lessons. If they do, and let's put a little bit into perspective, if in the scenario here I only had the 603 Treasury and I was short a few to qualify, at the current time of doing this video, if I needed the additional 28 Treasury to qualify, that would cost me, my wallet isn't updating, that would be 0.25 XRP that I would need to buy to make myself eligible.
Not 0.25. So that'd be
XRP.
50 cents, 25 cents. like
no, 0.25 XRP. So it would be 8 cents, 10 cents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you are ever unsure, what you can do is you can go to livecoinwatch.com and go to you can change the price that you're looking at through things to XRP. I'll just go ahead and share my screen. There we go. You can see Treasury there. And then what I do, if I'm ever looking between XRP and USD, I'll just change it here. Right now it's already in XRP, so I can just see that, for 1 XRP, I can get 144 Treasury. So working backwards, if you needed 25, you can see that it's 0.17 XRP. And you're like, well, what is
Exactly.
XRP? Well, you can go to XRP and search uh, and see the USD value if you wanted to. Like, oh, one
Yeah.
XRP is 38 cents or what have you, like it says the price here. So
Yeah.
you can see relatively what it would cost you just if you're trying to work backwards. But Live Coin Watch is something, the tool that I use all the time. So whenever I'm doing ballpark estimates. But yep. Well, I think I think we've covered everything. Is there anything else we're missing out, Duncan?
No, I would just say that what we're building is not just something for people to go and hit up on the decks, load up, and go off on their merry way. We are genuinely building what we consider to be quite an exciting ecosystem through the products that have been launched today and the ones that are in the works. And we enjoy community engagement. We have all of our socials that are open. So we'd encourage people either to reach out if they have any questions about Treasury, the project as a whole, either the tokens, the rewards, or anything. We are very, very responsive across all of the socials. And we also really enjoy, contributions from the community as well. So I would say if people watching this video do not hold any Treasury whatsoever, UTXRP or anything else, but are curious, visit our website, have a little look. If you hold a Zim wallet, it's going to cost you nothing to connect and have a play with a couple of the lessons, and see if Treasury might be a right fit for you. But otherwise, yeah, we're always on hand if people have any questions whatsoever.
Awesome. Well, I hope you find this helpful. I hope it gave you a vision of where, again, where we're at in the market, how you can accumulate, and the rewards that you can possibly get could put you in a better place in the future. Potentially, as well as the opportunities that are going to come with venture to use your Utilitex that you are accumulating, as well as the other things that we don't know about yet that Duncan will come back and tell us about later. But I hope you found this helpful. I hope it gave you that the reason I'm excited about Treasury and Utilitex. And again, hope you found this helpful. Make sure to smash that like button. But until next time, I'm JTXRP. This is Duncan Glendinning, and we're out.